Super Bowl 37, the greatest stage on earth, and the stars were rolling. It's the Bucs' top defense against the Raiders' top offense. John Gruden taking on his old team, and his new team came out ice hot. Could the Bucs kick the Raiders while they're down, or would the black and silver and black make a late comeback? We got it all. We got it next on NFL Primetime.
NFL Primetime, presented by Miller Lite. Primetime is Miller time. And now, here's your host, Stuart Scott.
First two times the Super Bowl was in San Diego, QBs ruled the day, Doug Williams and John Elway. On this day, it was all about that D. Hi again, thanks for hanging with us on NFL Primetime. The franchise that started 0-26 is now world champion. Stuart Scott, Tom Jackson, Steve Young. Does this prove once and for all, Tom, that defense wins championships?
If you have a great defense, they will come out, they will suffocate any offense that they go against. That's what happened to the Raiders today.
Wait a second. Wistfully, for years, we've been saying, what if they had an offense? What would happen? Rhetorically, we asked 3 weeks ago, what if they score 48,
That's right.
31,
That's right.
and 27? What will happen? They'll win championships. This offense came to play, and I tell you what, John Gruden put a masterful game plan together. Solid, yet he was explosive.
Look at the last 3 Super Bowl champions. I see the Ravens, I see a flawless defensive game plan by the New England Patriots, and I see today's Buccaneers.
And I see a former Buccaneer quarterback grinning. We'll get to the highlights quickly, but first, the drama before the game. Oakland Pro Bowl center Barrett Robbins suspended before the game for missing a series of team functions. Now, we have confirmed that Barrett is in a local hospital, and Sal Palantona reports that he is expected to remain there for a few days. We'll have more in this story later on in the show. The Raiders were hoping it would not be a distraction. They were hoping it wouldn't be a distraction. John Gruden ready to face his former team. Jerry Rice looking for his 4th ring. Warren Sapp has looked forward to this his entire career. Rich Gannon playing without his starting center. Third play out of the game, Brad Johnson gets pressured and play-headed on by Charles Woodson. 3 playoff games this year, 3 times that Johnson has had a first-quarter pick. Ensuing drive, Simeon Rice, 15.5 sacks during the regular season. TJ, he was bringing that wood.
We talked about the matchup between Simeon Rice and Barry Sims as the left tackle of the Raiders. You just look at the move right there. Great inside move, great usage of the hands by Simeon Rice. Gannon knew early on he had to worry about the backside protection.
Steve, what's going on here?
Brad Johnson got started slowly, but then got heated up with Joe Jurevicius down the sidelines. I think that he needed to get a ceiling. Thanks for the running game to get him started.
1st and 10, Michael Pittman breaking off a little something proper. 21-yard run by Pittman. He had 72 yards rushing in the first half. Bucs kick a field goal. They tied it at 3. Still tied at 3. Rich Gannon sacked by Greg Spires. TJ, Gannon, was he confused or what?
Well, I said he had to worry about his backside, Stu. He had to worry about his front side as well. And look at the power rush by Greg Spires. Got Lincoln Kenning leading and knocked him right over.
Late first, tied at 3. My bad. Gannon picked by Dexter Jackson. Jackson's wife is 8.5 months pregnant. She is in San Diego, but she did not go to the game. Steve, what's going on?
I mean, I tell you what, speed, and speed kills. These are, you know, you talk about the big Oakland offensive line. I thought that was a benefit to them. It actually hurt them today with the speed.
And then Martin Gramatica, 43-yard field goal. Bucs up 6-3, typical Bucs football. Well, we thought it was. More Bucs defense. Gannon, pressured. Sacked by Rice again. Rice, 5 tackles, 2 sacks in the first half. They're all over him. Next Bucs possession. Pittman, the former Arizona Cardinal, dances his way all the way to the 2-yard line. And 2nd and goal. Chris Berman's not here, but in honor of Boom, 2nd and goal. Mike Allstott.
It's coming.
I think he's calling. That's what Gruden's saying.
He's saying green right.
Mike Allstott, 5 rushing touchdowns in the regular season, 13-3, TJ.
Yeah, and once the timing of this offense was thrown off, now you see players dropping footballs here, 3rd down and 6. Timmy Brown actually gets a very catchable ball, but he's distracted by the defense. Now the timing of that rhythm offense, that West Coast offense, has been completely thrown off.
And this is where I think that Tampa Bay takes control, and Michael Pittman, my MVP of the game, because he's the one that helped Brad Johnson get on track. The quick pass to Mike Allstott in the flat. They called the Wally play a bunch of times under pressure today. And then again, Keyshawn Johnson for the nice slant pass a few times early in the game. And then to Allstott, another Wally. I mean, they call that play, I bet they called it 10 times today. And then the pay dirt there is a little fade stop. Nice little route to McKeener-McCardell. I think, that's what got Brad Johnson going finally, and I really thought that was important.
That made it 20-3 Bucks. Second half, 3rd and 2 Raiders. Gannon's pass broken up by Brian Kelly. And Jerry Rice has yet to catch a pass at this point in the game. 3rd and 2. And check out what happened. Michael Vick comes into play. Okay, it ain't Michael. Brad Johnson, only 13 carries all year. His longest was 6. That went for 10. And here, Johnson to Keyshawn, 1st down. Johnson to Juravicious, getting righteous, 34 yards. This is why he completed 62.3% of his passes in the regular season. 2nd 9, Johnson to Ken Dilger, and Dilger accidentally is going to kick Charles Woodson right in the head.
You sure that was accidentally?
Well, it's true. I mean, maybe some Raider payback. 1st and goal after an offensive penalty. Holla to Keenan McCardell. Now remember, the Bucks not known for long drives. They had a 77 and an 89-yard drive in this game. Next Raider drive, Gannon picked off by Dwight Smith. Play a please. The Bucks led the NFL with 31 picks this year, TJ. 10 different guys, everybody cashing in.
That's a great replay of Dwight Smith. Just watch his head, watch his eyes. You see him looking back at the quarterback, makes a great break on the football, actually has 8 yards to do it, and you see John Gruden celebrating on the sideline.
Rich Gannon was slow all day, too, on the reads.
Finally, a little bit of something for the Raiders. Gannon moving around to Doug Jolly, who's the 2nd best player in BYU history. The best is sitting next to me right here. 3rd and 4, Gannon, though, incomplete to Jerry Porter, but pass interference called. Drive stays alive. 3rd and 3, can a brother get some Jerry Porter? He led the Raiders with 9 touchdown catches in the regular season. Get it deep to Porter. But does he have it? It is initially ruled out of the end zone, incomplete. Steve, right call?
You can see that he drags his feet beautifully. Jerry Rice taught him that. He comes to the Raiders, and all of a sudden everybody's dragging 2 in bounds.
They reversed the call. Touchdown, Raiders. 2-point conversion failed, 34-9 Bucks. Bucks forced to punt. Tom Tupa hadn't had a punt blocked all season. Eric Johnson picks it up. Touchdown, 34-15 Bucks. TJ, maybe? Just maybe for the Raiders?
Well, Tommy Tupa allows his punt to be blocked, but he kicks the ball out 10 feet in front of him. You got to help your line. I thought the job they did protecting was actually pretty good, but it ends up in a touchdown for the Raiders.
2-point conversion, Gannon over the middle, incomplete. Another 2-point conversion, not good. After a botched Buck field goal, Gannon. See, this is what Steve Young did with Jerry Rice.
I'll tell you, this is one of the staples of the West Coast. A little out move about 15 yards deep, then cut it up the middle. Actually, very similar to the first catch he made against the San Diego Chargers at Super Bowl 29.
That post route, Jerry's 8th touchdown in 4 career Super Bowl games. The lead is cut to 34-21. 2-point conversion to Porter, has it, pushed out of bounds. Now it's ruled incomplete. Didn't count. 2 minutes to go, 2nd and 9. Warren Sapp. He gets to Gannon. Everybody getting to Gannon. Next play, I ain't gonna say that, but this ain't right. Derek Brooks, NFL Defensive Player of the Year. He had 4 touchdowns in the regular season. Tommy, you called that. You knew that was going to happen.
Derek Brooks may be the best ever at this. You just watch him as he gets back in the middle of the field. He's reading the quarterback's eyes. He has a great set of hands, and he knows how to get to the sideline and make a beeline for the end zone. Got that nice loping stride, running a lot faster than it appears.
Celebration was on, but hold up. Gannon, player hated on again by Dwight Smith. Dwight Smith, 2 picks, 2 touchdowns. Rich Gannon threw 10 interceptions in the regular season. He threw 5 in this game. Ball game. Gruden gets the Gatorade shower. Gruden beats his old team. Tim Brown, 15-year veteran, will have to wait for the ring. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are Super Bowl champions. Did you ever think you'd hear that, Steve?
Sounds good. I tell you what, John Gruden did it all today because he gave him to Monty Kiffin. He didn't, not out of ego, gave him the chance to go out and play defense, gave him the challenge, and then offensively brought a lot to the table this season.
Bucks win 48-21. Yeah, the Tampa Bay Bucks. Not only is it a surprise that they win the Super Bowl, but the Bucks score 48 points and hold the league's top offense to just 21. After the game, Kenny Mayne caught up with Bucks Super Bowl QB winning quarterback Brad Johnson.
You guys had the defense so overwhelming. Every time is sticking you in great field position. How great a luxury is that?
It's been the ultimate team. That's kind of the way we played this year. Our defense, they created a bunch of turnovers. They scored today. And today we had a 90-yard drive for a touchdown. We put up a lot of yards on the game today. So it was a lot of fun. Felt like we played awesome up front. And we got better, and we said we could score all season long. This is an incredible day to say that one day in your life you're number one.
It seemed like in the second quarter you found the middle of theirs got really soft, and that's where you went time after time. Pittman.
First quarter we got a little bit out of a rhythm. They were kind of taking a lot of hits, throw the ball away quite a bit. In the second quarter we started pounding the ball. Our running game was working for us, and we started hitting on our third down conversions. And we hit them all over the field in the third quarter.
To say you're going to Disney World is kind of lame because it's right up the street for you. So how are you going to celebrate this?
You know what? I'm going to go back home and just hang out with my kid. It's been an unbelievable year. Spend time with my family. Be back in Tallahassee. I want to say hello to everybody back in Black Mountain, too.
Individually, do you still feel sort of vindicated? I mean, you know, you've been hurt a lot. You've been questioned sometimes. Then you go through and do something like this?
Well, I think the numbers have been there every year in my career. I've had some injuries. I've dealt with them. We play winning football. I play with an unbelievable team right here, and it's an ultimate team game. So for one moment like this, it's unbelievable.
Get up with your team. Thank you. Good seeing you.
Big up to the Tampa Bay Bucks. Check this out. The first 10 games of their playoff history, they went 3-7. They scored 10 touchdowns. That's the first 10 games. The last 3 games all this year, they've scored 13 touchdowns. They are 3-0. John Lynch makes the Pro Bowl. Seems like every year, John Lynch, first-time world champion.
What does it feel like to be a world champion?
Yeah, you know, it's something like, I guess it's not the same as having a kid, but it's the same in that you just can't explain it till you're here. And then I don't know if this is how it always feels, but where we came from, this franchise, it makes it feel so sweet. You know, to all the people that stuck with us through some hard times and kept persevering. I mean, it's just a great lesson in life if you just keep believing that you can do it. So many people contributed to this. A lot of people who aren't here with us, but this team right here took it to the next step, led by John Gruden, and you know, we love that guy.
What did your defense prove today about great defenses against great offenses?
Yeah, we'll leave that to the pundits to judge, but we were told we come into this game and we win a championship, we'll go down as one of the great defenses of all time. And I got to believe with what we did to this offense. They're a powerful group, but we came out and did what we did all year, and I think you got to say we go down as one of the greatest of all time.
Congratulations. Go find your family.
I think John Lynch was calling us pundits.
I am a pundit.
There you go. Bucks win.
Yeah.
You know, John Lynch, here's a guy, he hits real hard, and we saw in the mic'd up segment by ABC, hit a guy and then he called him a punk. Trash talking happens, but what kind of tone does that set physically and emotionally when you're doing that to an opponent?
Well, certainly I thought it intimidated the Raiders a little bit, and I don't think they're used to that. When you look at the rushing totals, 11 carries for 19 yards for the Raiders, I thought that was the difference in the football game. 42 carries for 150 yards for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They control the tempo of that football game in every way. But the pressure that came early on in that football game from Simeon Rice, from Greg Spires, from Warren Sapp, these guys set the tone early on in this football game that you, Rich Gannon, are not going to be comfortable in the pocket. They also have the speed once you leave the pocket to actually get you and track you down. We thought they could track Mike Vick, they could trap Donovan McNabb. Would they be able to trap Rich Gannon? We saw that the answer was yes today, and I think when you look at this football game, 4 defensive touchdowns scored by this team in the last 2 playoff games they scored, including the 3 today.
Was there any way that Oakland could simulate Tampa Bay's speed on defense when they were practicing?
No. No, you don't have that kind of speed on your defense, and I thought that's where you really saw a difference.
There's no team in the AFC that can even give them a look throughout the season. I think that's one of the problems, that they don't have anybody to really show them what they're going to face for the Super Bowl in Tampa Bay. You think about the Raiders. I talked to offensive coordinator Mark Trestman earlier this week, and he said, look, we're going to spread them out and run. We're going to line up in a full backfield and run. We're going to try to establish a run. And Tommy and I were talking earlier. Yeah, you tried to establish. They tried to do everything screen pass. They tried to. Yeah. Everything seemed to be going their way as far as first down completions, all the things they're looking for. They couldn't convert. And throughout the season, the Raiders have been able to get first down completions, second and short, third conversion. Today, they could never get anything started. Rich Gannon, you know, if he wasn't going down, his balls were being batted around. And you can tell that his head was on a swivel throughout the day. A lot of these are the same plays because it was speaking to the #1 offense in the league. You knew throughout the season if they faced speed, what would happen? We talked about these older players later in the season. What would it be like when they actually had to face somebody who could outrun them from top to bottom, from corner to safety to defensive line? That's what they saw today. They were they watched it on film, they heard about it, and they were still shocked.
And let's don't overlook the most basic fundamental of playing defense, and that's tackling. It's the best tackling team in the game. How many yards after catch today? Yeah.
Not a lot.
Yeah.
Hey, the Bucs returned 4 interceptions for touchdowns in the regular season. They returned 3 in this game. We got plenty more to come. We'll have more of the Tampa Bay Bucs, and we'll also have the latest on the Barrett Robbins situation. What was probably a huge distraction for the Oakland Raiders, the suspension of one of their Pro Bowlers before the game. Stay with us, plenty more to come.
And that's how we met.
You're so smooth.
It's a gift. It's one of those gifts that keeps on giving.
Life is best told over a great-tasting Miller Lite at a place called Miller Time.
This is a new movie for this generation.
NFL Primetime, the Raiders were trying to win their 4th Super Bowl. They could not. It may have been affected by some pregame drama. They suspended their Pro Bowl center, Barrett Robbins, before the game for missing a series of team functions. Our Sal Palantonio has been following this story the entire day. Sal, what's the latest?
The latest, Stu, is that we know that Barrett Robbins has been admitted to a local hospital here in San Diego. According to our colleague Andrea Kramer, reported on ABC News earlier, Barrett Robbins and his wife made the decision to go to a hospital after he was feeling very distraught about the decision made by Bill Callahan for him not to go play in this game because he missed a number of responsibilities on Saturday at the Raiders Hotel. After the game, Rod Woodson and Ed Werder talked about the decision.
Thanks. I'm here with Rod Woodson. Rod, that was obviously a devastating loss, and it was started with some unusual events this morning. How did you find out about the Barrett Robbins situation?
Barrett is irrelevant. No one person wins or loses a football game. Last year, this football team won 12 games with True at the center. So you win and lose football as a football team. And nobody on this football team today for the Oakland Raiders played a good game.
To what extent do you support Bill Callahan's decision to dismiss him for his offense?
I'll tell you what, it's tough. You know, I don't know what issues Barrett had, but, you know, as a head coach, sooner or later you have to put down, you know, the iron foot.
Okay, Rod, thanks very much. Rod Woodson, back to you.
You guys heard Rod Woodson say that no one player wins or loses a game. He sounded like it didn't matter. How can it not matter, at least going into the game?
Well, I agree with Rod. I don't think that Barrett Robbins would have helped them to win this football game. I don't think they were going to win this football game.
But did it affect their psyche going into the game?
The Buccaneers were the better team, but it did not help. You cannot have that kind of distraction on the morning of a Super Bowl and think you're going to come out and play your best ball. It's unacceptable behavior, not only from Barrett Robbins, but from any football player on any team.
It boded poorly because the other two situations on game day of Super Bowl, Stanley Wilson and Eugene Robinson, are 0-2, so you had to know they were in trouble. But the subtleties of center and a quarterback working together all year long, I don't care if he worked with him last year, it's different. And then I know that they wanted to get that Tampa Bay off, that defense jumping with the snap count. You get a new center, you could see that they were a little bit off early.
Stanley Wilson, Super Bowl 23 at the Bengals, suspended, did not play. Eugene Robinson, Super Bowl 33. He did play with the Falcons, but they lost. We got plenty more to come. Stay with us. We're going to hand out our game balls. We're going to have more on the Tampa Bay Bucks, Super Bowl champions. Finally.
Tonight on a San Diego edition of SportsCenter, end-zone to end-zone coverage of the big game. The Magic lose, so T-Mac celebrates. And a Sunday conversation with today's Super MVP.
Number 2 UConn battles number 1 Duke. Saturday at 7 on ESPN2.
All right, nothing but girl. Sorry. Well, I guess I'm not going to the NBA All-Star Shootout anytime soon. But you could. That's because the more collect calls you make with 1-800-CALLATT, the more chances you have to enter or win a trip for 2 to NBA All-Star 2003 in Atlanta. 6 winners will be paired with 6 NBA players in the 1-800-CALL-ATT shootout. If your NBA player wins the shootout, you win $50,000. So just keep using 1-800-CALL-ATT for collect calls, and you might just have a shot. You are so beautiful. I think I just double dribbled.
After an incomplete pass, they turn to the run. First down here at the Baltimore 23. Empty backfield as they look to spread the defense. The blitz is coming. Flushed out. Throws on the run to the back of the end zone. Touchdown!
Pepsi and Lay's, official sponsors of the NFL.
Ready?
Yeah.
This is called action.
No better. That's pretty lame.
No, that was right there.
Out of bounds. Easy does it, man.
I want a rematch.
Whatever.
Man.
Wait your turn.
Yeah, you know what? Why don't you stay over there, copy boy?
Yeah, man.
Okay?
Let's coffee.
All right.
Night of Fury. 6 men, 3 championships. Juan Manuel Marquez versus Manuel Medina. Miguel Cotto against Cesar Bazan. Carlos Hernandez faces David Santos. Also in action, Dimitri Salida. Saturday, February 1st, from the Mandalay Bay Resort and Casino, live on Direct Ticket pay-per-view. Night of Fury. Live on Direct Ticket pay-per-view on Channel 101.
From Showtime Hollywood Hits, when one really bad gambler,
I'm just a loser, right?
bets his whole life on a team full of underdogs,
Damn, Miles, you stink.
you realize some heroes are real long shots.
Come on, let's go. Oh, my God, he caught it.
Keanu Reeves, Diane Lane. Hardball, this month only on Showtime. Part of Showtime Unlimited. Added for $12 or less per month. Call 1-800-DIRECTV to order now.
Welcome back to NFL Primetime, presented by Miller Lite.
Warren Sapp has long said he would trade any of his 6 Pro Bowls for a Super Bowl ring. He doesn't have to anymore. Warren Sapp on this team's defense.
They got to talk about us in the same sentence as the Ravens, Curtin, and all the rest of them that came and played the game and won it. But I don't think any of those defenses faced an offense like we faced today and put a stranglehold on them.
Good job, Juan.
What's going on? Any other night?
He calls himself Orange County. He can call himself whatever he wants. These are your defensive Super Bowl MVPs. Chuck Howley was the first for Dallas. The latest, Dexter Jackson. There have been a lot of them, and there have been a lot of great ones.
Keyshawn, I know a lot of people are going to say this is a defensive win, but the offense did it. But the offense put 20 points on the board in the first half.
Who cares what it is, a defensive ring or whatever they want to call it? I have a Super Bowl ring now. That's all, and I contributed. Joe Jurevicius contributed. Brad Johnson contributed. Michael Pittman rushed for 100-some yards. That wasn't defense. We did our job. We went out there and we took advantage of the Oakland Raiders and we won a Super Bowl. I don't care, Chris. I don't care. I got a ring. A lot of guys that sit in your studio, they don't have rings, and they know who I'm talking about. I didn't get mine from my brother.
Wait. But I thought Keyshawn wasn't going to do any more interviews with any media the rest of his career.
He's got the ring now. He's going to do a few interviews.
Interestingly enough, those are 2 of the most loquacious guys with Warren Sapp and you know, you think about it, they were quiet all week.
Yes,
they came with a
yes.
purpose. You clearly
Yes,
saw that Tuesday.
yes,
They came,
yes.
they knew what they wanted to do, and they were quiet.
Yes.
They came out and did what they wanted to do.
We'd be remiss if we didn't congratulate this football team. Great defense, but they weren't going to win that championship without the offensive support, and that's what Keyshawn was talking about.
Keyshawn, 6 catches, 69 yards. When we come back, we're giving out our game balls and final thoughts. Steve Young is still grinning like a slit watermelon. And I think he wants to put on his old orange jersey.
I'm taking it out.
Doesn't Miller Lite taste great?
Yeah, but I drink it because it's less filling.
Great taste.
Less filling! Great taste! Less filling! Great taste! Less filling!
Oh, man. Now that would make a great commercial. Who wouldn't want to watch that?
Life is best told over a great tasting Miller Lite at a place called Miller Time.
Less filling!
Avaya. What is it? First, what it's not. A Caribbean island? Welcome to Avaya. Yeah! Avaya! Everybody say Avaya! Avaya. Avaya is a state of pure communications perfection. Here you find IP telephony for about the price of a standard PBX upgrade. And the biggest, most experienced communication services team, hands down. Oh, still not sure what Avaya is? Ask over 90% of Fortune 500 companies. Go on. They know. Reach Avaya, a higher plane of communication.
I was raised up to be a gunfighter by a family of gunfighters.
One cop did anything
You gotta be heartless in my line of work.
to get the job done.
Great, got a gun! Yeah, you do.
But no one has ever dared to take him on. I'm going to get your badge. Until now.
Do you know what you're doing?
Declaring war. Kurt Russell and Ving Rhames.
This whole city's about to burn.
Dark Blue. Rated R. Starts Friday, February 21st at theaters everywhere.
I kick that sick. All the deck. Damn, I don't believe in you now.
Winter X Game 7 in Aspen starts Thursday at 9 Eastern on ESPN2.
I'm a player in the National Football League.
But that is not who I am.
I'm a member of a community.
Dedicated to making a difference in people's lives. I'm a player in the National Football League.
Unforgettable thrillers that became instant classics. Tigers triumph at St. Andrews. Capriati's comeback down under. Duke's OT win over Kentucky. Unbelievable! See the games everyone talks about as instant classics, only on ESPN Classic.
NFL Primetime, presented by Miller Lite. Life is best told at a place called Miller Time.
Game ball time, our primetime players. It is time for us to hand it out.
Mine is Simeon Rice, 5 tackles to 2 sacks. That doesn't really tell the story, though. He set the tone for this football team early on, Steve.
Mine is no question about it, Michael Pittman. He got them started without it. We know that the Bucs can get going downhill and running with that defense, but Michael Pittman was the guy that got the points on the board in the second quarter and got this game going.
Mine, Dwight Smith, 4 tackles, 2 interceptions. He took both of them back for touchdowns, defensive effort. And Chris Berman says his game ball goes to Leroy Selman, still the only Buck in the Hall of Fame. Unbelievable.
It was an unbelievable game and a great day for the Buccaneers. And at some time, somewhere, Al Davis will have to answer for John Gruden.
And, you know, speaking of John Gruden, he challenged the offense and the defense coming in this year. He said, look, defense, you played better than you ever played. Offense, I'll take care of that. This really goes to John Gruden. What a great job he did.
Bucks' 4th straight Super Bowl team to win their first Super Bowl in franchise history. For TJ and Steve, I'm Stuart. SportsCenter's next. We'll see you.
This is SportsCenter.
A battle of the best for Super Bowl 37. Power versus precision. Composure versus intensity. Who failed to deliver? Who came through in the clutch? And why was this center of attention gone before game time? Carter and the Raptors play Kings for a day. The Magic gets pierced by Boston. So why is T-Mac celebrating? Well, this Texas general looks to shoot down the nation's longest winning streak. The Mavericks try to stop a streak from blazing through Dallas. All the hits, hoopla, highlights, and heartbreak you can handle. A championship SportsCenter starts now.
SportsCenter on the road is presented by Smirnoff Ice.
SportsCenter on TV from San Diego, and a lovely day in San Diego, especially if you favor that team from Tampa. We're reporting, as always, from beautiful Embarcadero Marina Park. As you see there, boats in the harbor, in the marina here at San Diego Bay, and we have guests, Dan.
Yes, we do.
I see them.
And what a surprise, the Buccaneer fans out showing their faces.
Well, Tim Brown showed as well, and yes, that's actually a Buccaneer and the Lombardi Trophy. Dexter Jackson, MVP of the game. He'll have to settle for being MVP of the game. He didn't get his name on the Wheaties box.
No, he did not.
Not too bad. Welcome to SportsCenter along with Dan Patrick. I am John Anderson. Thanks for having us. Super Bowl 37, pretty much the same game that a player will play that he just remembers all the rest of his life.
But I think the Raiders' Barrett Robbins will have far different memories of this Super Bowl than his teammates, but they will be painful memories for all involved. The Raiders All-Pro Center was in a San Diego hospital Sunday night undergoing tests after being told Sunday he would not play in Super Bowl 37. He missed several scheduled team events on Saturday. Robbins isn't the first player to find trouble before a Super Bowl. Back in 1989, the Bengals' Stanley Wilson was found in his hotel room in a cocaine-induced stupor. Cincinnati lost that game to the 49ers. And then in 1999, the Falcons' Eugene Robinson was arrested the night before the game, charged with solicitation of prostitution. Atlanta went on to lose to the Broncos. So would Robbins' absence lead to trouble for the Raiders? How would it affect them? There's his fill-in, Adam True, the long snapper. How would this affect Bill Callahan's team? John Gruden trying to dismantle the team that he assembled. Warren Sapp is ready.
Been working this for a long time. It's our opportunity.
Somebody that's scheduled. Somebody that's scheduled.
I like it. Let's go.
The Bucs defense trying to stop Jerry from ring number 4. Tim Brown's first Super Bowl. His wife at home, 8.5 months pregnant with twins. First quarter. Tampa's third play from scrimmage. Brad Johnson, he was picked off in the first quarter of Tampa's first 2 playoff games. This time picked off by Charles Woodson. Would Oakland be able to capitalize? 3rd and 7 from the 16. MVP Rich Gannon. Sacked by Simeon Rice, who had 15.5 during the regular season. Raiders would settle for a field goal. Tampa's next possession. Johnson guiding the 24th ranked offense, looking for Joe Jurevicius. Had only 1 catch against the Eagles, but a huge catch down to the 23-yard line. Next play, Michael Pittman, averaging just 2.5 yards per carry in the postseason. He'll peel off 23, but he got a little bit of help from his all-pro fullback, Mike Allstott, looking like Larry Zonka. Going to take out Anthony Dorsett, springs Pittman for the game, and the Bucs would settle for a field goal from Martin Gramatica. Tied at 3, Gannon sacked by Greg Spires. Even more impressive, these sacks were coming on 3-step drops by Gannon. Raiders ball. Gannon forced out of the pocket and is picked off by Dexter Jackson. Jackson, 3 interceptions during the regular season, and Monty Kiffin's defense looks impressive.
Into the second quarter, 6-3 Bucs, a trade of field goals. Gannon pump fake. Dexter Jackson not buying. He'll take it and make a U-turn on that. He's the 10th player with 2 picks in Super Bowl history, subject to change. More Bucs defense. Oakland, 2nd and 10 on their own 11, and here comes Simeon Rice. His second sack, 5 tackles, getting after it. Certainly a long way out of Arizona, and it's another former Cardinal on offense. 2nd and 4 in the 21, Michael Pittman. It's good to save your best game of the season for the Super Bowl. 19-yard gain down inside the 5. Let's check in a defensive tackle, Warren Sapp. Can we get a big fella in on the offensive line? 2nd and goal on the 2, and the Bucs, well, John Gruden puts him in, but he doesn't run to his side. A decoy. That would be Allstott barreling in. The PAT's good. It's 13-3 Bucs. Everybody happy on the sideline, and, well, they're going to get more of it. Next, Raiders possession. Rich Gannon trying to get something on 3rd and 6. Gannon throwing to Tim Brown. Tim Brown can't hang on. Tim Brown, 1 catch for 9 yards. 15 years waiting for a Super Bowl. Next Bucs possession, 13-3 Brad Johnson. A little flip to Allstott. He's yakking. Yards after the catch, 16 yards there. He had 5 catches for 43 yards. Johnson flicking it out to him again. He's down to the 5. And the very next play, watch Keenan McCardell. He's going to lose Chaz Woodson. Just a little bump, gets away, turns around. Thank you. First catch of the day is good for a touchdown. 20-3 Bucs. And as you can see, he can finger roll. John Gruden, he is pleased. 20-3, the Bucks leading at halftime. The numbers you need to know from the first 30. The Raiders' top-ranked offense held to 62 yards, 3 first downs. Jerry Rice didn't get a single ball in that half. Pittman, 75 yards, bettering the entire Oakland offense and bettering his performance in every regular season game this year, save one. Sean Salisbury, Sterling Sharp, your impressions going into the locker room?
I think my impressions were is that I was not shocked at how well the Bucks played, but I was shocked at how well they controlled what Oakland did as far as tone, tempo, both offensively and defensively.
They sure looked like they were the team that came out of the locker room ready to play, didn't they?
Yes, they did. And I looked at the first half, and I thought that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Oakland Raiders, what they tried to do is set tone and tempo. Both teams came out with the no-huddle offense, and I thought both teams were searching, trying to find something that worked. And I thought John Gruden did a better job of mixing it running pass. His first 15, he had 10 passes and 5 runs. Right here, a double move, trying to get Charles Woodson and Brad Johnson. Pressure in his face caused him not to get a lot on the ball. Rich Gannon, he was pressured all day. You heard Dan just mention he got a lot of pressure in 3 steps drops, which was unheard of. And controlling him, I thought the Bucks front four did an outstanding job of keeping him out of his rhythm. I thought that the Bucks secondary did an outstanding job of not allowing the Raider receivers that 3, 5, 6-yard completion that allowed Rich Gannon to get the ball out of his hands.
You know what's interesting too, Sterling, when you're watching a game like this and you say, well, don't let a team beat me with their strength. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
With their strength. You try never to let them beat you with your strength, and that's exactly what Tampa did right out of the chute. Here we see a special teams play and the return, getting field position and getting them
This is
short field.
This is where momentum switched for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they turned it over to their offensive line, who, let's face it, played extremely physical in this football game. Michael Pittman, hats off to him. What an outstanding job running the football in between the tackles. I thought he only missed one read where he probably should have stayed outside, but he did an outstanding job running the football. That set tone and tempo, allowed the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to, A, get a lead, going up 13-3, and I thought once their defense saw that lead, that it was going to pretty much be over.
Yeah, and then they get to get into offensively, they get to get into a rhythm and getting back with Tampa Bay's defense. And I'm always amazed at who you're going to double team. You know, we talk, when you can get pressure with 4 people and not have to blitz like Tampa Bay can. And with Rich Gannon, the key to them, and Sterling mentioned it, getting them out of the rhythm. But have a look, this is Simeon Rice. Sims, the left tackle, trying to block him. There he gets his left foot a little out of position. Great spin move by Simeon Rice. It's not just the sacks, it's these throws right here that Rich forces in there, and the interception by Dex Jackson. Here's Warren Sapp against Lincoln Kennedy. And I know it's hard to believe, but Kennedy's got him by a bunch of weight. There's a shot, gets in there, forcing incompletion. But have a look at the bad body lean by Lincoln Kennedy. Sapp pushes him all the way back to Rich Gannon. When you're doing that, the rhythm is shot. Tampa Bay controlled that tempo. Now on the other side of it, you take a look at the Raiders, the pump fake. They've used it all year. Middle safety, Sterling, Dexter Jackson. Doesn't bite on it at all. Didn't move. Matter of fact, he cheated to the opposite side. Look at all the space Rich thinks he has. But when you're a safety and you're running at the snap of the ball, pump fake didn't work. It almost looked to me, Sterling, like they knew what was going to go on before it was thrown. And there you see the ability to stop Rich Gannon in the first half, guys. 2 interceptions in the first half. The wide receiver receptions, only 3. We know about his distribution of the football. Sacked twice in his first 2 playoff games. They got after him today. And John and Dan, when you turn the ball over 5 times and when you get it over, especially in the first half when you turn it over, you don't have much chance to win a football game, Sterling.
No, you do not.
Thank you, gentlemen. Still ahead inside this edition of SportsCenter. The second half. You got to play 60 minutes to be a champion. Back with highlights and analysis from quarters 3 and 4. Bucks trying to hold that lead. Chris Berman's top 10 plays, a stroll through the best in Super Bowl history. Boomer picks his most memorable moments from the NFL's biggest game. And then we have more on how the Raiders' Barrett Robbins became the center of attention without playing it down in Super Bowl 37. We're back from San Diego in 70 seconds.
Stress has become become so deep, it is a part of his personality. It's impossible to reverse.
Well, maybe more he isn't, I can stop him.
On March 14th, I will set up. They'll come here and burn this house down.
The only man who can catch him is the man who trained him. Remember me? Academy Award winner Tommy Lee Jones. Academy Award winner Benicio del Toro.
You better be ready to kill me.
The Hunted, rated R, starts Friday, March 14th everywhere.
With ESPN Full Court, you get up to 30 games a week, including key conference tournament games and coverage of the NCAA Women's Tournament. To order, call your cable company, DirecTV, or Dish Network.
SportsCenter on the road is presented by Smirnoff Ice Premium Malt Beverage, Intelligent Nightlife, and in part by Gatorade Thirst Quencher. Gatorade, is it in you?
Let's recap the first half highlights, some of the ones that stand out from Super Bowl 37. It's 6-3 Buccaneers second quarter. Rich Gannon threw 10 interceptions during the regular season, gets picked off by Dexter Jackson. Jackson's second interception of the game. Later in the second, the Buccaneers are up 13-3, and it's first and goal. Brad Johnson to Keenan McCardell. Buccaneers up 20-3 at halftime. John Gruden was pumped.
Raiders down 17 coming out after intermission. The largest halftime deficit ever overcome. Super Bowl, 7 points right away. Trouble. Marcus Knight breaking up the pass. Bucks ensuing possession. Brad Johnson. Joe Jaravicius. Quite a day of emotions for Jaravicius, no doubt. 4 catches, 78 yards, led the Bucks in both categories. 4 plays later, Raiders 8-yard line. Johnson. Keenan McCardell, how about we make it 2 catches and 2 touchdowns. The Bucks up 27-3, and again the finger roll. Raiders one more time. Gannon. Uncomfortable off his mark at this one. Read perfectly. Dwight Smith, 44 yards going the other way. 7th pick return for a touchdown in Super Bowl history. That too subject to change. 34-3. Heck, the Bucks D was up 7-3 on Oakland. John Gruden, yeah, please.
Let's go to the fourth quarter. Tim Johnson blocking the Tom Tupa punt. Eric Johnson recovers it for the touchdown. 2-point conversion, no good. It's 34-15 Buccaneers. Next Raiders possession, 3rd and 13. Gannon to Jerry Rice. 40 and going strong. 2-point conversion, no good. 34-21 Buccaneers. Under 2 minutes to go. Gannon picked off by the NFL Defensive Player of the Year. Derek Brooks quiet for the first 3 quarters, and they still dominated by their defense. 41-21. Gruden, Warren Sapp getting his groove on. Derek Brooks pumped up as well. These guys pretty much laying the foundation for the success of this team. Michael Pittman came over from Arizona. Read all about it. Keyshawn, just give me the damn trophy. Jerry Rice, he'll have to wait for ring number 4. And John Gruden, a Dayton Flyer, is a champion as the head coach. Seconds left. Gannon picked off by, or tipped by Greg Spires, taken back by Dwight Smith, and the Buccaneers up 48-21. Gruden still wants more. Cheering Smith on as he heads down the sidelines, and for Rich Gannon, who would have thought? Tim Brown, 1 catch. John Lynch, 1 happy boy. John Gruden saying, hey, owner, thanks for paying a whole lot for me. This is great. The final 48-21. The Bucs, who ranked 18th in the NFL in scoring during the regular season, produced the 4th highest point total in Super Bowl history. Bucs picked off Gannon, a Super Bowl record 5 times, and 3 returns, also a Super Bowl record. Buccaneers also outgained the NFL's top-ranked offense, 365-269, including a 150-19 edge on the ground.
I'm just so happy for our players. It's a credit to Coach Dungy. He left a very solid program, obviously, and for us to come in here as a new staff and as a new team and win a Super Bowl, I think speaks volumes about the city of Tampa and our team.
They got to talk about us in the same sentence as the Ravens, Curtin, and all the rest of them that came and played the game and won it. But I don't think any of those defenses faced an offense like we faced today and put a stranglehold on them.
I don't know how to feel. I mean, we're sitting here celebrating the World Championship. This is stuff you dream about. This is stuff you work so hard about. And It's a great feeling.
They got us out of rhythm early, and we didn't generate any real productivity on first and second down like we normally do. And to only have 3 first downs in the first half is just very poor. And we got behind in the score. We could never catch back up.
We just didn't get it done. You have to tip your hat to them. They played a great game, offensively and defensively. So, but obviously that's not the team that, you know, we weren't the team that we had been all year tonight. And, you know, we're supposed to play our best tonight. We didn't do that.
It's a dream coming true, man. I was working hard for 6 months. Training camp and celebration in Orlando is very hot in Florida, very hot. And this is what comes from the hard work.
I know a lot of people are going to say this is a defensive win, but the offense did it. But the offense put 20 points on the board in the first half.
Who cares what it is, the defensive win or whatever they want to call it? I have a Super Bowl ring now. That's all. And I contributed. Joe Jurevicius contributed. Brad Johnson contributed. Michael Pittman rushed for 100 and some yards. That wasn't defense. We did our job. We went out there and we took advantage of the Oakland Raiders and we won a Super Bowl. I don't care. Chris, I don't care. I got a ring.
I didn't think Keyshawn was talking to the media. Now, the Buccaneers' victory makes it 4 straight years. The Super Bowl champion has been a first-time winner of the game. The Rams in '99 began the trend. Let's go back to Sean and Sterling, guys.
You'll always talk when you win. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not talking to you anymore. You know, I thought this game was won in the first series of the second half. I thought the Raiders being down 20-3, they got a chance to go in, make some adjustments, get themselves back in this football game. And then what happens is they come out and they go 3 and out. And I thought that killed them because they didn't get a chance to establish Rich Gannon coming out right here. Tried to get him some quick throws early. Tried to get him in some sort of a rhythm. This is the only time in the football game that the Oakland Raider offense looked like itself. And then on 3rd and 2, to have this throw hit the ground, I thought that was part of the end of the football game because the Bucs go 91 yards, 14 plays. Ironic, 7 runs, 7 passes, even a run by Brad Johnson. Outstanding location with the football. And when he got on the roll and he got comfortable in the pocket, you see all the throwing lanes he has right here. Nice toss over the top to Joe Jurevicius. And then for Keenan McCardell to finish this thing off in a bunch formation. Great transition route runner right there. Finished that thing off. Football game was over. Game, set, match, Tracy Austin, regardless of how you look at it, this was it. And as Keyshawn Johnson said, I think he was totally right on. It was a total team effort. Great punt return by Carl LaTruth. Defense did an outstanding job. Offense contributed. Other than the block punt and the botched field goal, I thought Tampa Bay played a perfect football
And it's been like that all year long for them, Sterling. They played right to their personality. And if you believe that a team takes on the personality of their head coach, you should believe it because John Gruden had that team the swift kick in the rear end that they need. And I always believe that physical beats finesse in a game like this.
Always.
And this secondary was all over the place. Not a whole lot of yards after the catch. There's one hit. Gannon throws. The one Sterling talked about, as important as there was Brian Kelly, no PI knocks it down. So if you don't like him now, well, how about this? Catching the flat, you get ball hawks and people swarming to make the tackle. Gannon another time. Drops back, low throw, but the tackle, the hit, right on impact. They were all over the place, a very underrated secondary. And there you see Mr. Smith taking it to the house for his first of his 2 touchdowns. Now, on the other side of it, can we give the offensive line of the Bucs some credit? Have a look in the backfield. Oh, they were dominant. They pushed the Raiders around. Look at the kick-out blocks, the space, and the hole created for Michael Pittman. And Sterling, you know this as well as I do. When they rush the ball with Michael Pittman 29 times, and he gets a buck, almost 130 yards, Tampa Bay will not lose, especially when you'll sack the quarterback and you don't turn it over.
As they showed us against Philly, it's not about the yardage. It's about the commitment and the carries to the run. And I thought what Tampa Bay did was come out, when they started running the football, it was basically saying, we're getting ready to beat you up.
And before we get back to John and Dan, is there any reason to believe with the offense, it's not really explosive in Tampa, yet they got a Super Bowl ring, that they can go back and do it again next year?
Well, the worst thing that could happen to the National Football League is the Tampa Bay Buccaneer offense believe they can score points on anybody. You can't score on their defense. That's the worst thing that could happen to the NFL.
Speaking of guys that can score points, ice and fire, John, Dan, it's all yours.
Thank you, guys. The Raiders won 13 games this season, none by less than 6 points. But on Sunday, the NFL's offensive Frankenstein was dismantled by its creator, John Gruden. The Buccaneers are the 10th underdog to win the Super Bowl outright. And afterwards, Rondé Barber, a member of that Tampa defense, came to bury the Raiders, not praise them.
We played better. They almost didn't deserve to be on the field with us the way we came out in our energy tonight.
What did you notice about Gannon? We were able to pick off 4 times. So collectively as a unit, with you with a bad foot, still able to shine.
You know what? We're aggressive with every team we play, regardless of the quarterback, MVP or not. And there's nothing that we ever change. We go out and do what we've done from day one, from training camp. And it shows, man. We're dominating defense.
Now tell me, what did it mean to Gruden? Did he talk to you about what it meant to beat these guys?
You know what? Like I said, we came into this game knowing we were the better team. We're going to try to be gracious in victory, but it's hard when you dominate the way we did.
All right, congratulations.
For the 3rd straight year, a team that was supposed to have a less-than-average offense came away with the Super Bowl title. The Bucs, Patriots, Ravens all averaged similar numbers in total yards and scoring in the regular season, yet still had enough offense when it counted. Come away with the hardware.
Most of the Raiders started their Super Sunday by waking up to the news they suddenly had a 6'3", 320-pound hole in their offensive line. Barrett Robbins not just benched, but out of the game completely. Backup Adam True, hardly a scrub, having started 14 games at center last season, stepped in. Still, much of the why and how in the story is a mystery, which is why Sal Paolantonio joins us from the stadium to try and clear the haze. Sal?
Well, here's the latest on Barrett Robbins. Barrett, the Pro Bowl center of the Oakland Raiders, was admitted to a San Diego hospital early Sunday morning. According to a source close to Robbins and his wife, Marissa, decided to check him into a hospital after they decided that his emotional state was a little weak when Bill Callahan dismissed him from the team on Sunday morning. Robbins missed the team meetings on Saturday. He missed the walkthrough here at Qualcomm Stadium on Saturday. He was basically AWOL until 8 p.m. Saturday night. Nobody had heard from him. They didn't know where he was. After the game, Ed Werder talked to Rich Gannon about the decision to have Robbins not play in this game.
I agree with everything that Bill's done, the way he's handled this football team during the year. And I'm not really going to comment on what happened. I don't really know all the facts. I just think that Bill was probably more inclined to make a decision based on all the information that he had. But again, that's taking the focus away really from what happened tonight, and the focus really should be on how well Tampa played and you know, how poorly we played. That was really the difference.
Sources tell us that Robbins does have a history of depression, that he is still in the hospital and may remain there for at least 24 hours, maybe longer, for some treatment. He's had initial tests, and those initial test sources show no evidence of drugs in his system, according to a source close to Robbins. Bill Callahan said after the game he will deal with this issue when the team gets back to Oakland on Monday. Back to you.
Thank you, Sal. No, a lot of legwork out there on this on Sunday. Sal Paolantonio reporting from Qualcomm Stadium. Still to come, the happy side of the Super Bowl. The Bucs celebrating the ultimate success less than a year after they, couldn't find anybody to coach the team. Head coach now is Brad Johnson in Super Bowl ring. Well, not all the Vince-related news Sunday had to do with the Lombardi Trophy. The first time in 7 weeks, Vince Carter gets off the bench. Happy birthday to him.